Making Chicken Salad this week is brought to you by 3 Count Pro Wrestling Academy. Are you in Brisbane and thought about learning to be a wrestler? Well, here's your chance. 3 Count Pro Wrestling Academy are based out of Beenleigh in Queensland, and they're committed to teaching the best, safest way to learn the art of professional wrestling. Hit up their Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or email admin at 3countfitness.com now to register your interest, and we thank them so much for supporting the show.
Here I was, blaming AEW for feeding you chicken shit, knowing you mindless millennials would be eating it up as if it were chicken salad, when it's really been your fault all along.
Make chicken salad out of chicken shit. People is as people does, that's all there is to it. But a square peg in a round hole just never seems to fit, and you can't make chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Welcome to Making Chicken Salad Aussie Reviews, the show where we talk what's going on in the world of wrestling and review Australian wrestling shows. I am 20-something years in the making, Lachlan Albert, and I'm joined by all ego, Todd Eastman. Toddy, how you doing, mate?
Now you've got me heat with hater. Thanks for that.
Hey, if there's one person with as much ego as hater.
Why couldn't I be world class? I mean, at least I have ties to Chris Basso.
Yeah, but I got to be honest, mate. I can't.
Whoa.
That. So we're talking about Riot City Wrestling's Battle for Supremacy. This is a show that happened a couple of weeks ago now and got put up on YouTube just before Christmas. So you can go and check it out for free. That's right, free on YouTube. Go check out an over 2-hour show stacked with Aussie talent. It's amazing to me just how much free Aussie wrestling content is out there. And, you know, a place like RCW, I know that you've got a lot of history there, Todd, but for me, as someone who has never been to the state, man, RCW's got some talent, doesn't it?
Yeah. And it is all with the way that they train the guys there, the way that they've set their academy up, and just it's very much like EPW, where they have that same work ethic and they have that same family feeling to it. So, and that's why they produce really good workers, because A, they're a family, and B, they don't settle for just being okay. Like, you have to be good. So,
and like if we only point out, like going through this card, let's only point out guys that we've mentioned on Making Chicken Salad before. We've got Brooksy, we've got, you know, Chris Basso, we've got Delta Brady, like people who we have talked about before as either the present top of the pile or up and comers for all of Australian wrestling, potentially the world. A really incredible roster there.
Like the pariah.
Yeah, and, you know, Kings of Ruin, like guys that just, you know, come out there as the top of the pile in Australia, despite, and much like EPW, like you said, it's not that Melbourne, Sydney connection where there's all of those huge names. These are guys that very largely, they're RCW guys, or they're guys that stay around the state. Mm-hmm. So it is really cool to see. So let's jump right in. And the opening match, I mean, talking about jumping right in, the opening match here is Adam Brooks coming out in a non-title matchup against Party Guy Ty. We have talked about Brooksy twice already, I believe, doing these Aussie reviews.
Yeah, he gets around.
Third time's the charm.
He gets around.
That boy works a lot, doesn't he? So opening the show against Party Guy Ty, I think that this was very clearly meant to be a high energy start. Party Guy Ty has a lot of crowd support. You can see when someone is getting chants when they're up against Adam Brooks, that is a big deal. And Ty clearly has the crowd on his side. What did you reckon, Todd?
It's that he's got that happy, like, comedy character, almost Adam Rose-ish sort of a gimmick. It's good young worker. Like, he's got a few things to work on, but he does show a lot of promise. Brooks, as always, was a complete pro in this match, to the point where I almost think he gave Ty a little bit too much offense, if that makes sense. Because I'm like, this dude's the MCW champion. He's the Emerald Crown champion. He should be dealing with this guy a little bit more than what he actually is. But that's Brooksy. That straight up is Brooksy. He would want to try and help showcase this kid as much as he could and help bring him along. So that's all I chalked that up to be. But it was a good opener.
Yeah, and like for me, as someone who's never seen Party Guy Ty before, I'm coming into this match going, who's this kid? And then I see, him stand up to Adam Brooks. Like, you don't expect someone you've never heard of to beat Adam Brooks, because if Ricky South can't do it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that Party Guy Ty didn't make it easy for Brooksy makes him look really good.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, I don't know if that's different if someone's more familiar with RCW, has seen what Party Guy Ty does. Obviously, he is that funny comedy character, but some of the offense he got in looked really good, looked really clever, which is the thing that I'm realizing more and more. It's smart wrestling that gets me.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some moves that Party Guy Ty put in where he knew what Brooks was going to do, anticipated it, and it went the other way. Like, obviously, can't say enough good things about Adam Brooks as a worker. Some of those like quick escapes, quick reversals are absolutely incredible. Really fun opener, really energetic. And then we moved from there into, as we've talked about already, Matt Hayter has had general manager Jensen Hunt on his case for a little while and came out opposite Down Under and Caden Cornell. Jensen Hunt announced that he had found one person to be the tag partner for Matt Hayter backstage, and it was Violet Blitz, turning this into an intergender tag match. What did you think of this one, Todd?
Look, I like all the people that were in this match, like all of them. I just felt this was a bit clunky at times. I'm going to say what I didn't like first, and then I'll go through with what I liked, because chicken shit, chicken salad.
That's right.
I personally I really like Cornell's character. I like Down Under. I think his character is really, really good. I don't necessarily think they work together as a team. To me, it doesn't fit, if that makes sense. Jensen Hunt and Down Under, for some reason, they sort of fit together, but Cornell doesn't fit in that group. That's just in my opinion. And Cornell needs to work on his ankle lock, because basically that ankle lock was just him hugging a leg at the end of that match. So, and that's a little thing. It's a sort of thing. And the whole, the Violet Blitz thing is, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't caught up with a lot of RCW over the last year, to my detriment, but I don't believe they've ever actually mentioned that she was a massive fan of Hayter before. Like, I don't think it's been in any of their storylines. I think it's been on her social media, but that's about it. So it's like, I don't feel like the crowd, and by the crowd I mean me, was educated to who she was until she'd already been picked. And then it was just like, oh, this is, because she likes him, blah, blah, and she's obsessed with him, and blah, blah, blah. Like, well, I didn't know that going into this. So it wasn't a natural thing where, like, as soon as they said Violet Blitz, I went, because, do you know what I mean? That was...
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but... like, Hayter's
while we're on the downsides,
yep.
can I jump in with something?
Go for it.
I really didn't like the way that this match was set up. So Jensen came out with Down Under and Cornell and started, talking smack, brought Hayter out, talked about how they were going to destroy him. And then the idea of a handicap match was mentioned, and then it was taken back and it was made into a tag match with Violet Blitz coming out.
Mm-hmm.
If Jensen wants to destroy Matt Hayter, then he should be doing everything in his power to make this match as hard for Hayter as possible. And if you mention a handicap match and then you go, no, actually it's a tag match and this is your partner, either you're not trying your hardest to wreck this guy, or you think it is worse for him to be tagging with Violet Blitz than by himself.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
An awful way to, talk about your talent, especially when, Violet was really fun in this match.
Yeah. So it almost makes like Violet feel less than, and when she's not.
Yeah, exactly. It should not be subtractive to have someone on your team. Like, Violet Blitz does not hurt you by being on your side. I think that maybe they should have been more careful about mentioning the idea of a handicap match, because once that's floated out, then that's an issue. I don't know.
If you even had done like a handicap match, but have it 3 against 2 and have Jensen in it as well. Like that would be another way around it. I completely agree. And that's something, I'll be honest with you, I sort of went over that. I didn't even really notice that, but you were completely right. That's, if you're going to say, I'm going to make it as hard for you to think I'm going to destroy you, but I'm going to give you a partner.
Yeah.
That's not, it doesn't really make sense in my mind. Now that I think about it, and it's something that you've picked up, and well done on that one. Look, Hayter's massively over. I love Down Under's work. Love his work. Jensen is really good on the mic. Does great work. It was just a clunky match for me. Like, obviously the finish was what they wanted, like, because the crowd were up for it and they were all behind Hayter and Violet at the end. But yeah, like, Violet's very green, but she, again, much like Party Guy Ty, shows a lot of promise. So,
definitely.
Like, although this was a clunky match and not sort of my favorite, there were positives to come out of it.
Yeah, and I think this is one of those matches where the in-ring is maybe not the point of this match, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, like, obviously, you know, guys like Matt Hayter and Down Under can work. There's no doubt about that. And every time Matt Hayter's doing something, it's smooth as butter. There's no questioning that. But it did feel like the point of this match was to put some shine on Violet Blitz, continue this story of, you know, Jensen trying to get at Matt Hayter, you know, give Down Under and Cornell a bit of a shine as people who are going to be violent and bloodthirsty and try and hurt people. I think that, and you know, Violet came out of it a star because she's someone that gets to come into this match as an underdog, be cheered by the crowd alongside someone who's massively over.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, yeah, they did a really good job of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could have been a little smoother, but I think that it was a really fun match to have in this spot. The one thing that I didn't love about it is it meant that there were the 2 tag matches back to back. And this led into an RCW tag title match, which feels a little bit awkward in terms of pacing.
Mm-hmm. When you think about it, too, it was kind of hard because there was more tag match. It was an even mount, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, there was.
Yeah, there was. Okay. But yeah, I understand that. But also, could you have opened that show with Matt and Violet? Maybe. Maybe you could have opened that show with that. But it's sort of like, yeah, before we do move on, though, I do want to say, if there are promoters out there, have a look at Down Under. Because, like, a large guy, large by, like, solid guy, very, very solid character to him. Like, you believe that he is what he says he is. It's a very, what's the Wolf Creek? The very Wolf Creek type of an Outback character, not your Outback Adam type, happy-go-lucky guy. This guy will kidnap you and kill you sort of look to him. And yeah, it would be good to see him get a chance somewhere else as well.
Definitely. Like
interstate wise, I mean.
Yeah. I think he's, you know, he showed there how much he can get his character across with very little. And I think that's huge.
Yeah, and also I can see Cornell in a year or so being really good as well. He's got that that fundamental base with some suplexes and that sort of stuff that I really did enjoy. Just work on your ankle locks, kid. That's that's what I would have said when he walked through the curtain. What ankle lock was that, bro?
Yeah.
There's a shit absolutely.
Lock. But, you know, again, that's a young guy who's got plenty of chance to improve there.
Exactly.
So, you know, hopefully we see a lot tighter ankle locks in the future from but moving on to, as mentioned, another tag match, this one for the RCW tag team titles. Long-time title holders, the Pariah, coming out with, of course, a manager in the form of the stepdad of wrestling, who we all love to hate, versus the Kings of Ruin. This match did not even get into the ring before it started going absolutely bananas, you know, going up to the upstairs gym portion of the arena. I think that this one was, you know, absolute knockdown, drag out, just a fight. And we love to see a fight. You know, there's a little bit of the gimmick going on. You know, you get Zach Sabbath pulling the mist out and, you know, you get so much of that character that comes through them, and the Pariah just being absolute jerks. This felt like the crowd was massively on side for the Kings of Ruin to take the titles as they did at the end of the match. What were your thoughts, Todd?
Yeah, I think that the only match that could have been a main event over this match was the match that they had as the main event. There was nothing else, I think, in Riot City Wrestling at this time that would be a bigger match than the one that they had on there. I'm just going to go like through my notes quickly. The mood and level changed so much with this match. Like as soon as the prayer, the Kings of Ruins music hit, as soon as the prayer hit, the whole thing where they had the whole ceremony of taking off the necklaces and the thing, is just, they seemed and they looked big time when they did that. The best way I can describe the prayer is like they're a pair of an attack dogs. That's what they seem like. Like they seem like a force of nature when they're in that ring. It's a very solid character. They never break from that character, which I love. And I love the fact that they, like, if you saw those guys walking down the street talking like that, you would walk the other way. Because and
what a great fit Rocky Monero is for them as a manager.
It's such a good grouping of those guys. Also, Mike Boomer doesn't get talked about enough. Great fiery baby face. Zach is also great as that face who just would not give up while taking the heat to get to that hot tag. They did that hot tag right. They worked it so the crowd really wanted it before they gave it to people. They furthered the storyline between Tyler Daniels and the family, because Tyler Daniels got kicked out the other month of that group. It used to be Tyler, Rocky, and the Pereira as a group. Kings of Ruin, very over. Need to be seen more around the country, much like a lot of these guys on this roster. And the Pereira are just one of the best tag teams in this country, period.
So good.
They're, to me, and I know this is probably going to sound like I'm a homer because I'm a Riot City boy. To me, they're on the level of a Natural Classics, a Velocities, a like Four Nations. They're on that level. And very much competing to be one of the best, just through strength of character alone. Not even in ring work, just their strength of character alone.
Yeah.
The look, the presentation, everything they do is on point, and everything they do, it's just like I said, if I saw these guys, the way they act, the way they talk, the way they're walking down the street and it was a dark alley, I would turn the other way because I would think they were going to kick my fucking ass.
Yeah, so my experience with the Pereira is I saw him in World Series Wrestling against the Philippe brothers. And like, man, those two teams have been able to go for a long time. And the Pereira are so intimidating. And they feel like, they give the vibe of they're not going to play fair. Straight away, these guys aren't in it to have a wrestling match. They are in it to beat the snot out of someone and take a victory.
And this is what I mean, like character-wise, I put them above the Natural Classics just in that, like that realm. Like you look at them and their character is on point. Their promos, they sound like they are just mad, angry people that want to kick people's ass because this is a business and they want to earn money, and they know the best way they can earn money is by kicking everybody's ass who's in their way. And that has been time immemorial the way that wrestling should be done. And they do it right, and they get the results for it.
I love the matchup of the characters that they have. Gabriel Eros is such like a dog. Like he's just gonna get you. And Theseus is this big guy who is like calm with the fact that he is going to beat the snot out of you. Like they bounce off each other so well. I absolutely love that team. Yeah.
And then with Rocky with them, it's like you've got that veteran brain just pointing the weapons, like go and get. You know what I mean? It's such a good pairing. I can't talk well enough about the guys, and they're the ones who lost the title, the Kings of Ruin.
Yeah, that's right.
The Kings of Ruin themselves, amazing team, and so very, very over in Adelaide. I'd like to see the two of them get a shot somewhere else around the country as well, because they're like Boomer is so underratedly good and doesn't get talked about. The same with like Zach. I had Zach on that Aussie wrestlers is sleeping on. Mike Boomer could very much slip into that zone right next to Zach.
Yeah. This match was awesome. Like really, I think that it was a good thing that they put the intermission right after this match, because it would be a rough job following that.
Oh yeah,
they were absolutely smashed it. The crowd was massively behind it. Like we said, we had that moment where you know, you get Tyler Daniels coming in and give it that excitement of there's someone to match up against the Edge of Monero to take that out of the equation. It was so cool. This is one of those matches where, and we'll talk about the main event, but the fact that this is free on YouTube, ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
You can just go watch this match. Go watch it. Speaking of things that you should go and do, go over to Facebook. Search for Wrestle Radio Australia. Go to Instagram and Twitter. Go to Wrestle Radio AU on there. Give us a follow. Let us know what you think of these events. Tell us what you want us to talk about on here, because it makes sure that we can see what you like about the Aussie wrestling that's going on around the country at the moment, and we can talk about it on here, give your feedback as well as ours. So with that, we will go to a couple of quick commercials, and we'll be back right after this.
This is the Bro Day Pod. I think, like, a crocodile has like the bite force and and like the rip and tear, but I feel like a shark
and
way
roll.
too much teeth, man. Way too many teeth. Too much teeth. Too many teeth. Like just bite, just tear flesh out of it. If it's a great white as well, I feel like a shark's got it.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
If I'm in there, I could choke out a shark.
Oh my god, dude. What is this?
You turn into
Is that all this podcast is? This podcast is just to prove, just for you to convince the world that you can fight every animal. Oh, I'm so heated now.
Shut up. It's a triple threat.
Who's taking the pin? If it's a triple threat?
Triple threat? I'll be the crocodile first, and then I'm
It's
coming for
elimination. It's an elimination. You're taking them both out. Nah, bro. This came out of nowhere. That came out of nowhere. That's it. At any point, all you want to do is prove you can fight animals. Go to the next one. Go to the next one. Go to the next one.
Okay.
Follow Bro Day No Plan B podcast on Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to our discussion of RCW Battle for Supremacy. Coming back from the break, we have a one-on-one match for the number one contendership to the Emerald Crown Championship, held by Adam Brooks. This one is Katy, Trey versus James Cray. And let me tell you, when you don't know either of these people, those names are very easy to mix up. So I'm going to be very careful. So Katy, Trey, playing the heel in this matchup, the dog, coming in, trying to come over James Cray, who is a bit of a fan favorite, a bigger bloke, bit of a smash mouth style, was very cool. And this one, let's talk about what actually happened before we talk about opinions on it.
Sure.
There was a submission move put in. Katy, Trey pokes the referee in the eye immediately before tapping out. So the ref does not see the tap out when James Cray releases the hold. James Cray then gets the pin with no referee. Another referee comes out. Once again, Cray puts Trey into a submission, and Katy, Trey rolls up so that James Cray's shoulders are on the mat. The second referee, the new referee, gets to 2 in the count. Katy, Trey immediately taps out as that referee counts 3. The original referee sees the tap out. One referee declares Katy, Trey the winner. The other one declares James Cray the winner. And we get an announcement that the match has been decided as a draw, and both men will face Adam Brooks in a triple threat match. What did you think of this, Todd?
First of all, I'm going to praise the RCW production, because, like, seriously, AEW and WWE could take notes on how that was framed and how that was filmed, because that was filmed absolutely perfectly to tell that story.
That was flawless. Like, you could see at all times where both of the referees were, what one could see, what the other could see. You know, really excellently done.
Yeah, and like I said, I've seen WWE and AEW botch that stuff all the time, and they got it perfectly. They camera angle. I don't know if they told them that this is the camera angle we want, do this or what, but it was perfectly done. So, like, massive kudos to those guys for that. It's a little different for me because I've known both Katy and James since they were rookies. Like I've seen them break in, I've seen them like finding their feet and that sort of thing. And Katy Trey with the dog show gimmick that he's got right now is absolutely perfect because it's something he loves. It's that style that he loves and he's always sort of wanted to do, like as he's grown as a worker and as a person, that's what he's wanted to do, that sort of style. And Cray is the same. Cray is an English guy, so he's always loved that world of sport. William Regal, he's always sort of loved that stuff. To see him mature in that way, because I know that he probably would have like sat down with Cray, Chris Basso, and gone through all these sort of holds and moves and that sort of stuff. And it's so good for me to see these two, the way that they've grown over the last like 4 to 5 years. They're so very good. Katy's very, very intense, and I like that. I like that he works the crowd. I like that he engages the crowd while he's doing it. Last month, I think it was, he had a match against Brooksy and busted him open in it. And that sort of like that really established this wild gimmick that he's got going at the moment. I loved it. I love the way this was booked to go into a triple threat, and the finish again was amazingly timed. If it wasn't for the fact that those other two matches were on there, this might have been one of my favorite matches on the show. It was one of my favorite matches. But if the Pariah and the main event weren't on this possibly would have been my favorite match, just for the way it was paced, the way it was all the things. We didn't mention at the start too, during the opening, Katy Trey came out afterwards and tried to attack Brooksy, but then got run off by James Cray to set up this match. So even if you didn't know that there was something going on, you got the hint at the start of the show that's what was that was the deal.
Katy Trey was one of the absolute standouts for me on this show. Like, again, as someone who doesn't know the RCW roster very well, Katy Trey came out and made me pay attention. Mm-hmm. He absolutely nailed it here. And I love, like I said before, I love smart wrestling. I love when a wrestler gets across to you that they're intelligent and they're trying to win, and they're going to think about the ways that they can win. And that eye poke to the referee, then the tap out to get Cray to release the hold, genius. Because if you're in a hold that is so painful you have to submit, you're going to lose either way. So why not give it a go? Maybe you get disqualified, but it doesn't matter. You were going to lose anyway. Mm-hmm. So let's have a go. Poke in the eye, tap to get him to release the hold, and then I'm in with another life.
Yeah.
Really, really fantastic. Makes Katy Trey seem like an intelligent threat to anyone he comes up against, a threat to beat them. And not only that, it makes him seem like someone who is dangerous and reckless and is out here to hurt people in order to get victories. Mm-hmm. Really cool. James Cray immediately comes off as someone who you want to see in the spotlight. He's the guy who immediately comes out and seems like he deserves it. He's working hard. He's in a spot that, you know, clearly he's on the way to the top. And then coming up against someone like Katy, who's got that strong, awful character. And I mean, awful in the best
good way.
Like he makes you go, oh, I hate this guy straight away. Yeah, this match was absolutely awesome. It's the kind of match where, you know, like Adam Brooks started off the first half of the card, and these two brought us right back into that second half. We said that you wouldn't want to have to fight, you know, follow Pariah versus Kings of Ruin. And these guys, you know, really put on a really solid match to get us back into it. Very, very impressed.
And with the strength of character of James, Katy Trey, you can see him having a shot at taking the belt off Brooksy. Do you know what I mean? Just through strength of character alone, which is good. It's great to see, because if you look at a card from the outside and you just go, Adam Brooks, Katy Trey, you just go, Brooksy's going to win that. But when
having seen this match, it's like, Katy could take that belt.
Yeah.
Because who knows what he's going to do.
Yeah. And also with Cray, with the way he's able to, like, his technical ability, you can see him, like, he's caught a win on him before.
Yeah.
And they told, and that's something that Sean and Paul told during the Sean Fuster and Paul Roberts, really good commentary team as well. It was a different vibe because it wasn't sort of like Paul sort of played like a tweener heel sort of a thing, but not really. And Sean's been doing it for a long time now, 5-6 years, I think. So he knows the Riot City Wrestling roster inside and out.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I also think that going into a triple threat, it's very believable that one of these guys could take the title because they both at several points in this match looked like they had it wrapped up. And you also know that they don't have to beat Brooks. They have to, alongside Brooks, take out one of them so much that they can get a pin or a submission. Like, it really is. And I know that that's, triple threats can go any way, and that's old school wrestling booking. But it really feels like any three of these guys could walk away from that match with that Emerald Crown deservedly, and that's huge. So big props to Katy, Trey, and James Cray for that one, because that was a ripper.
Yep.
So after that, we moved into another tag team match. This was the masked tag team of Kit Condor and Chase Magnum up against Dean and Delta Brady. Now, the headlines are what came after this match, but let's leave that until after we've had a discussion of what this looked like inside the ropes. We've talked before on Delta looking like the future of Australian wrestling. And once again, she's got the look, she's got the in-ring, she's got the X factor. Like, it is all there for her to be the future. I hope that the promos can go a little bit further for her, because there was a pre-match here where she didn't quite nail it, and that's a matter of time. Once she's got that down, she's going to be the full package.
I think the strength in that is when they do their pre-records. Their pre-recorded promos are a lot better. It shows a lot more of the character, and maybe that's just, like you said, a comfortability around the microphone and that sort of thing. And that hopefully will change. Hopefully will change in time. I love the juxtaposition of Delta's character to what Dean's is. And I love that Dean has found this character before, because Dean was when he first came into RCW, we call him the blue chip athlete. That's why his name Dean Brady is after Tom Brady. That's what we sort of base it on. So like the whole clean cut, because he was like a flat top and he was a good like sized kid, and just like
haircut you can set your watch to.
Exactly right. And just to see him find this character, which is pretty much a lot closer than what he is, than what the blue chip athlete was. And just like it looks like he has fun when he's out there too. And it's
going out there in the board shorts and the no shoes and the, like he oozed cool and confidence in a way that is so compelling.
I will say one thing though, mate. Like Dean, and I love you. You know I love you. It looked like you headbutted the tanning machine. Like seriously, your face, brother. You were really close to getting cancelled with that face. Just ease up on the 10 with that. Aside from that, everything else was fine. I thought this was a really fun tag match. I think Magnum is very new.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know.
But that got mentioned, but for that high-speed, high-flying luchador style, didn't seem super green, didn't seem unconfident in what he was doing. Definitely high praise for someone coming in fairly new and having that level of confidence doing that high-flying, aggressive style.
Yeah, but his partner, Kit, is so very smooth. He did a step in. We talked about this off air. He did a step in slingshot Rana. And to this day, I still don't know how he did that.
How did he do it?
Yeah, it just looked so smooth. And if it wasn't for the post-match stuff that was on this match, this to me would have been something I would have put as the opener, because it had everything that would have got a crowd going for the rest of the show. But with the finish being what it was, the post-match being what it was, I completely understand why they didn't do that.
Yeah, so
I love the match, and I loved all the 4 people in it. I thought it was really good.
So with the post-match, and again, this is a place where, because I don't know the history of RCW, it took me a little bit to get into it, but we had a strange character come out. What was his name again? Sorry, Todd, I haven't got it written down in front of me. Einar the Strange, that's right, comes out. He has been looking for people to team with over the past however long. Comes out to confront Dean and Delta. Delta grabs the mic and says, "We know why you're here. We're not interested." And Einar kind of says, "No, that's not what I'm here for." Then the lights go out, and then the absolute behemoth that Einar has been wrestling recently comes out, accompanied by, and again, sorry about the lack of names here. I forgot to write down the post.
Amber Switch, I think it is.
Yes, accompanied by Amber, and they just absolutely take out the Bradys, just rock them, and really establish themselves as, you know, a scary tag team. Baron is obviously a monster.
Mhm.
Amber has that, you know, really creepy little kid vibe. So you put Baron and Einar with Amber, and you get this unholy trio that just takes them out. I don't know where it's going. It is strange to me that Baron and Einar, by my understanding, went to a no contest at the last show, and then that moves on to them being a team.
Mhm.
I don't quite get it, but I worry that it's going to get written off as they're both weirdos and they beat each other up so bad that now they respect each other and they're a team.
And he
Which to me-
brainwashed him, sort of deal.
Yeah. Like, you know, kind of, I don't love that. Maybe that's not what it's going to be. Maybe there's something more interesting going on there. I hope so, personally. But either way, Einar and Baron make a very intimidating looking team. And it seems like potentially we're going to get them and the Bradys as them establishing themselves as big scary monsters, which they obviously are. And with the Bradys being so clearly loved by the crowd, it's a good way to get them hated. What did you reckon?
I think Baron and Amber is what would happen if they'd have booked, like, what's her name?
Bray Wyatt and
Yes, Alexa Bliss. If
Alexa
they'd have booked, but instead of Bray Wyatt, they had like Kane and Alexa Bliss. If they did that right, that's what they would look like, because it is a very intimidating look, a very scary. Like she looks terrifying.
Oh yeah.
But I completely agree with you. Like, to me, it made no sense, being that it went to a no contest. It was like a blood feud as well in that match. It was very violent, that last match between the two of them. And now that it's just like they're just teaming and that's it. And if they're just going to team to have like Baron that turn on them in the next show or something like that, even then, I don't understand what that's about either. It was a weird thing for me, but we'll see how it unfolds, I guess.
Yeah, I definitely feel like this is more to have a strong bad guy team than it is to be a part of this narrative that's moving forward. But maybe there's more to it that we just haven't seen yet.
Mhm.
That's the hope. But we move on from that to a match 20 years in the making. For the first time, Havok and Chris Basso one-on-one. Havok defending the Riot City Wrestling Championship against world-class Chris Basso, who's previously held the belt 4 times. This is not just some match that's been thrown together. This is a big deal. Now, Todd, I know that you've known these guys, so why don't you speak to the importance of this match for us quickly?
Yeah, like I said it because they did a big promo. It was like a 15-minute promo or something, like talking about, with everyone from the roster of Riot City Wrestling, talking about how big this match was. Like, it was that big, like that they even asked me to do a quick thing for it. And like, I was dead set when, like, my part of the promo was dead set what my feelings are. Like, when we first started and we turned Chris Basso heel, we called him before we came up with, or he accidentally come up with the world-class gimmick. We used to call him, his nickname was the Cornerstone Chris Basso, because he was, or is, one of the cornerstones of Riot City Wrestling. They're from day dot. Him, his brother, Joe Greco, 3 of the guys that put that place together, and through their blood, sweat, and tears is what it is today. So that's royalty in Riot City Wrestling when it comes to that. And the fans know that. As for Havok, anyone who knows Adelaide Wrestling knows who Havok is. Jag and Havok was the match for the longest time. And then as a tag team, Jag and Havok were the thing for the longest time in Adelaide wrestling and in Australian wrestling. They are minted in Australian wrestling. And the fact that those two hadn't actually had a one-on-one match in 20 years is amazing. And also the nugget of it was Chris and Matt's debut match that Havok came in and interrupted and attacked the rookies. That just added another layer to it, which I thought was brilliant to see. But I can't understate how big the only thing I can see that would be as big as like a Chris Basso Havok match would be a Chris or a Matt Basso versus Jag. That sort of thing. Like that's the way in Adelaide wrestling. That's the way it is. Because like you couldn't be a Jonah Rock because Jonah and those have had matches before. And they've mingled before. Like Jonah was in Riot City Wrestling before he went back to Rampage. So they've had that sort of thing. It wasn't until this past year or 2 years, Jag was Wrestle Rampage and that was it. Die in the wall, Wrestle Rampage guy. And now with the intermingling, you get to see these matchups. Like even Damian Slater was a Wrestle Rampage guy. We worked out a deal years ago for him to come in and work. He worked a shot at Riot City Wrestling, then we worked a shot at Rampage. Havok was never like that, was never a part of that. Havok was very much, this is my team, this is my family, this is how I stick to. And that to build up to this match now is unbelievable. I probably went on too long about it, but that's how I felt going into this match.
No, and that's the context that, you know, I think is really important for this, because the match was a fight. And I think a lot of the times I've complimented matches by saying this flew by. I didn't realize how quick it went. This I'm going to compliment in exactly the opposite way. This felt like every hit was calculated and heavy, and the match was knock down, drag out, and you felt every second of it because you could tell that these men were getting every bit of energy that they had and putting it towards beating each other down. I'm really glad that there wasn't a lot of interference from the two managers. There was that little bit of interference, which I really enjoyed, which is Havok's manager putting his foot on the rope to avoid the 3 count. And then when we get to the post-match, Basso calls him out for it, and Havok is angry about it. Havok's like, no, that's not the way I want to win. If you're telling me the truth, I'll accept a rematch. Love that, because it shows that, you know, Chris Basso did rightfully win the match without that interference there. But Havok is also a guy who doesn't want to cheat to win, because he knows how badly he beat up Basso in this match. He is a beast. And yeah, the fact that it ended with 2 back-to-back package pile drivers, like that's the kind of match this was. I am always blown away by how smooth Chris Basso is. For a guy his size and his build, who is doing those mega drivers, those big high impact moves, for him to just float over the ropes the way he does is absolutely incredible. How does that guy move like that? I don't understand it. Yeah, this was an absolute war. This was a very deserving main event. What did you think of the in-ring action, Todd?
Well, I'll go through my notes and I'll go through my bad, like we did before. I'll go through my bad stuff first, because there was a couple of things that I probably differ to you in the way I saw it. I'm just going to read my notes because it's probably easier me doing it this way. If I was being picky, I would have liked the foot on the rope spot to be a lot closer to the finish of the match, to be honest. And also the package pile driver, kick out at 1, get up, kick again, package pile driver again. I've just seen it. I've seen it a bit in other sort of, like Robbie Eagles did it with Gino, with the pile driver. They sort of that like that. I love Havok, but either have him with Ben or split from Ben. Because they've done this on and off thing before. This has been going through thing. Just either have him with him or don't have him. Like either be a heel or be a face. Like make your mind up which way they want to go with him and stick with it. Like if I would have so much as to own it. Like, if he put his foot on the ropes, I'm like, it happened. Ref didn't see it. Suck shit. I'm out. I won. Peace. You know what I mean? It's sort of like, do you understand what I'm saying? The match was amazing. Like, well paced.
Awesome.
They took their time to get in. They took their time to let the crowd get into it, which is really important to do. And a lot of things that the younger wrestlers don't do nowadays. They just fly by because they have their stuff that they want to do. Whereas Chris and Havok are smart enough to know, come along for the journey. This is what we're doing. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to work with it. And with the foot on the rope thing, like I said, I felt could have been a lot later in the match, just to kick those two out, to get Hayter and that out of the ring so it could just be the two of them. I would have rather it been like package pile driver, kick out of one, big trade-off sort of thing, turn into something, kick, then the second pile driver. Than that. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not just like, I don't understand, like in my mind, I can't understand why, if you've got that much adrenaline that you've kicked out at one, you're not going to get kicked in the gut and just fall down, get caught with another pile driver. Do you know what I mean? You're fired up. You would go straight into attacking him. That's in my mind.
And this is the way that I see it. And like, you know, this is just different ways of thinking about the match, but you're exactly right. It is a surge of adrenaline to kick out at one. And then you're about to build up that fire again. And then if you just get taken out straight away, you don't have that hit of adrenaline again. You've used it for that big kick out. And then you get planted with a big pile driver like that again. It's over. Like that's the way that I see it.
Yeah. I would just like to take the crowd on a bit more of a ride before that. Kick out of one, that crowd like leaps up and they are. So why wouldn't you just go with it? Let Chris get a little bit more shine before cut off pile driver. And it could be a dirty cut off. It could be something, you know what I mean? And then a pile driver, then the finish. Because then he can say, like, I beat you fair. Look, you saw it. And even then, I don't like the fact that he beat him sort of fair and square. And then they've gone, he put the foot on the ropes. I'm like, that I'm a bit, But I understand it. It's a gateway to get through to a second match, which I'm never going to complain about seeing a second match with these two after seeing this one.
I mean, I know what I want based on this, and this is, you know, just my little pie in the sky booking here, but I would love to see this be a 2 out of 3 falls rematch with the idea that rightfully they have won each over each other in the match that they just had. So which way does the third fall go? Like that's the way I kind of think about it, is that, each of them got a 3 count on the other one.
I'll message Cray now.
Yeah. Good call.
2 out of 3 falls. Lachlan said so.
Lachlan said so.
Lachlan
Lock it
said
in.
So. Who the fuck is Lachlan? That's a fair question.
No, that's I asked that myself. But I mean, either way, we're splitting hairs here because this match is brilliant. It was great.
Yeah, it was. It was really good.
They're putting it out for free on YouTube. It's crazy. Anyone can just go watch it.
I will also say, as a side note, Michael Kent, their head ref, is one of the best refs in the country. He's so very good. And like, I've known Michael for a long time. And it's one of those guys that when I saw him on the booking sheet as our referee, I was like, well, this is going to be good. I don't have to worry about anything with him. He's such a good referee. And he doesn't get enough praise because people talk about your Edwins and your ref Nicks and all of this stuff. Michael Kent is one of the best, if not the best referee in the country. He did the International Assault Tour with World Series Wrestling. So to be as good a ref as to like travel interstate with a touring company of internationals. With
those international talent.
And have those internationals say, we want this guy with us all the time. That's a hell of a praise. And I can't say more about him. And behind the scenes, one of the nicest, one of the most humble guys you'll ever meet too. So big shout out to Michael. Great job on this show as well.
Yeah. This was a really, really good show. And like, we tried to be picky about it here because, you know, we're doing these reviews. It would be really easy for us to get on and go, hey, this is Making Chicken Salad. It was a good show. See you later. But, you know, the fact that we're picking out those little things, like saying I would prefer a little more back and forth after that first pile driver, or those tiny little niggles are so small when this show top to bottom was so good. It was a really, really cracking show that is just sitting there for free on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched it and you're listening to this, you're a crazy person. Just go watch
But this also, just to take you a little bit behind the curtain, if this was back in the day when I was managing Chris, I would have probably brought that up when I saw them planning the finish.
Yeah.
I would have probably brought, oh, look, they've done this, like blah, blah, did this, and can we change it a little bit? And I probably would have got told to shut the fuck up, and I would have. But it's like just behind. Like,
but now you got a podcast, so everyone has to listen.
Now I've got a
you.
microphone there. You will listen to what I have to say. I just blew out the speakers on that one. I also, as a sentimental thing, I love the fact that they've kept my intro for Cray, because that intro that you heard in the main event, that's the intro I used to do for Cray on the mic for every one of his matches. Except he used to look a little bit more like Conor McGregor, so we called him Notorious before we did the rest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just, as a sentimental thing, I love that still. And
Yeah, so absolutely go check out RCW's Battle for Supremacy on YouTube. But speaking of things you should check out, you should check us out. In fact, you should subscribe to Wrestle Radio Australia if you're not already. It's free. Just going over to YouTube, to Apple Podcasts, to Spotify, to Stitcher, to wherever you get your podcasts, hit that subscribe button. And if you're doing it on Apple Podcasts, please give us a rating, give us a review, give us 5 stars. It helps us get into the ears of more people. It helps us spread the love of Aussie wrestling far and wide. Also, follow us on the social media. On Facebook, we are just Wrestle Radio Australia. You can search it, you can find us. On Twitter and on Instagram, we are at Wrestle Radio AU. You can see everything we've got coming up. We always, put the advertisements for what shows are coming up, and we ask you for your feedback on those shows. Let us know what you're thinking. When we're recording our regular Making Chicken Salad episode coming up, you can tell us what you've loved or hated in the world of international wrestling, and we'll talk about it. So get in there, get your discussion points in there. Go on over to Redbubble, search for Wrestle Radio Australia. You can find some awesome merch with the logo on it, and the proceeds don't go to us. They go to some awesome charities that support men's mental health in Australia. That's Beyond Blue and Gotcha for Life, that do some absolutely fantastic work. So get amongst that as well. Obviously, support local wrestling in your area. We've talked about it recently, but this is, I think, the 4th Aussie show that we are just sitting here talking about. And every time we've been blown away by it. I feel like I've got less criticism for Aussie shows than I do for international shows, and I'm assessing them on the same level. Like, if you're spending time to watch NXT or SmackDown or Raw or Rampage or Dynamite, you should check out what's in your area. Go along, go to a show. It is absolutely incredible to see live wrestling. Can't encourage it enough. Anything else you want to shout out while we're here, Todd?
No, that's about it. Have a happy new year, everybody, and Merry Christmas, because we passed. Yeah. The reason I had this show was, like, we could have done this show before Christmas, but I also figured that A, we wanted to have a bit of a Christmas ourselves, and B, it probably would have got lost in the whole Christmas stuff. So
holiday shuffle.
Yeah, so you just got a meme of Lachlan and I being Bobby and Gorilla, which I thought, which tickled me, and that's all that matters. But
if I have no problem with being Gorilla Monster.
And your head fits so perfectly on that. My wife was just like, when did you get that photo taken? I said, look at my head. Does that look like my head on that body? She's like, oh, no, it doesn't. I said, no. She goes, he looks really good, though. I said, all right, shut up.
I always look good, Todd.
Oh, here we go. Happy New Year to everybody. And again, I hope that this year coming up is a better one for us. I know things don't look the best at the moment, but it's a different year. Who knows? We'll get through this.
Absolutely. So with that, that's Todd Eastman. I'm Lachlan Albert. Have a good one.